G'day guys and gal, we haven't done a top 5 or 10 video in a very long time, but with me kind of just like not uploading while I was visiting America, it's time to bring out the big guns to get the channel back on track. Inquisitors are wildly interesting. They exist outside the chain of command, are constantly infighting, can command entire battle groups on a whim, and have some rather spicy egos. Whenever an Inquisitor goes rogue, things go extremely bad. Whenever an Inquisitor is highly competent and heroic, he or she can save billions of lives or more. Some Inquisitors burn the brightest and rise the highest, only to fall the hardest. But what makes someone great? Is it ethics and morality, or is it doing something that no one else does? Pushing to make an impact, even if others brand you a heretic or a madman. Before we get started, when you think about the most important hairy spots on your body other than your head, you probably think about your beard and your balls. Well, don't worry, because Manscaped does as well, as I've partnered up with them today to bring you the Beard and Balls bundle. Everything you need to keep your face and family jewels fresh and groomed. First, we have their absolute signature flagship product, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. A product I've been using for years, which has left me completely nick, cut, or rash free. Not even ingrown hairs. It's like magic, and I cannot recommend it enough. You can take it in the shower with you because it's waterproof and has hectic battery life, so you barely need to charge it. For the upstairs, which is what most people will see, hopefully, we have the Beard Hedger, one of Manscaped's most advanced pieces of equipment, featuring an electric shaver that has a ton of length options so you can go for a near clean shave or leave a healthy bit of stubble, which is what I often opt for, so I just turn the length up to like 2 or 3 depending on how I'm feeling. Manscaped also has dozens of other awesome hygiene and grooming products, like manly smelling body washes or deodorants, as well as other nifty devices like the Handyman to make male grooming the easiest thing on the planet. The Beard and Ball bundle is already discounted, but if you use my link and code Majorkill20, you get an additional 20% off and free international shipping. Cheers to Manscaped for sponsoring this video. Today we'll go over 5 of the greatest Inquisitors to ever live, even if they ended up getting a little bit heretical in the end. And of course there will be some cheeky honorable mentions because I'm just silly like that. Let's get into it. We'll start a bit vanilla before getting into the more spicy ones, with the first Inquisitor being Torquemada Cotiez, which I'm sure was named by GW as a sick joke to fuck with poor Aussies like me, who only have a basic understanding of the English language or how to say names. Now, although his new model is quite controversial and leaves a lot to be desired, his lore does not. Cotiez is a Lord Inquisitor of the Ordo Malleus, a rare rank in the Inquisition's confusing hierarchy, which genuinely gives him authority over like 99.999% of the Imperium, including other Inquisitors. The Ordo Malleus being the branch of the Inquisition that is specialized in hunting and destroying demons and other chaotic things across the Imperium. Thus, its members are known to be some of the most pure and strong-willed. Cotiez's hatred of chaos runs deep. He was born in a church with a close, generous family. The church took in some desperate people who were not believers in the God Emperor, granting them sanctuary and mercy. In return, these people captured most of the church's congregation and sacrificed them to chaos. Womp womp. Cotiez himself was spared when the Inquisition arrived and purged the heretics, himself only been spared because the Inquisition saw righteous fury and a desire for revenge burning within him. He was taken into the Inquisition and begun his training, rising fast through their ranks and being seen as a prodigy. What really cemented him into heroic badass status was when an Inquisitor Lord called a conclave and presented a demon-bound crystal he had recovered after a recent cult purging. He spoke of how they could use the power of the crystal against chaos, using the enemy's own weapons against it. Cotiez, who was a significantly lower rank than Lord Inquisitor, walked straight up to his lord, smashed the crystal, called his lord a heretic piece of shit, and declared him a traitor. He then presented an hourglass, flipped it, and said by the time the sand was gone, he would prove himself right and execute the Inquisitor Lord. It was ballsy as fuck, and everyone was so shocked and impressed that they entertained the idea. Cotiez provided evidence that the Lord Inquisitor had used demon hosts, heretical powers, and other weapons of chaos in order to continue his career and achieve so much success. The gathered Inquisitors agreed with Cotiez's assessment, so he executed the Lord Inquisitor on the spot, opening up his role, which Cotiez was granted, becoming a Lord Inquisitor himself. A few people were like, okay buddy, bit of an ambitious power grab there, to which Cotiez replied, I'm literally the best person for the job, lick my balls. Cotiez would become a legend, remaining entirely pure from chaos as he purged demon hosts, which are wildly overpowered, and he even slew a demon prince. He personally led Grey Knight squads into battle, which is incredibly rare, and was last seen taking on Abaddon's Arcs of Omen, seeking ways to undo them. A funny plot twist though is that even though Cotiez would never dabble in chaos, he is able to dabble in xenotech and science, mostly with the goal of extending his own life, so he can continue his service to the Emperor for as long as possible. This next one is pretty obvious, Inquisitor Gregor Eisenhorn. I've talked about this man many times, and he even has his own video, but there is something I especially want to highlight. In Warhammer 40k, the rules of chaos is this: if you dip your toe in just a little bit, you will eventually fall. Chaos is insidious, relentless, and will claim its due. Yeah, sure, you can use your willpower and knowledge to conquer a demonic flame which burns out which burns out a Chaos cult, or maybe your demonic sword slays a demon, or maybe you bind a demon host and you get it to kill a Chaos Space Marine, but as soon as you do that, the timer starts and you eventually will fall. Unless you were Inquisitor Gregor Eisenhorn, who is Naruto running down the path of damnation, yet shows no signs of corruption of mind, body, or spirit. And this dude has done some seriously heretical shit. To name a few, he forged a staff using the corpse of a Chaos entity, he read a Chaos book and used sorceries from it to kill his enemies, he bound a demon host using the body of his old best friend, which he now uses as a fucking Pokemon, his retinue literally includes an Alpha Legionnaire, and he was force-fed a poison that turns people to Chaos. But the dude does not give a fuck. He uses Chaos like I'll use my tongue on my wife's clitoris when I meet her one day. He is a no-nonsense guy. He knows what needs to be done and will do it. A path that has led to him being declared a traitor and generally hunted by most other Inquisitors. A fact that doesn't bother him too much, as he thinks most of them are fuckwits anyways. He is currently battling against cosmic forces in order to try save the galaxy. Classic Eisenhorn shit. This next one is a bit of a controversial add to the list, but in all the right ways. One of Eisenhorn's early nemesis was a man called Inquisitor Quicksauce, which I always thought sounded like quick sauce, which was quite comical despite what this guy actually did. Quicksauce was what Eisenhorn could have turned out to be, so radically hell-bent on his quest against Chaos that he embraced its power. However, despite falling to Chaos, Quicksauce did not abandon his mission and still sought to bring Chaos low, which I found fascinating. Before his fall, he was a legendary and noble Inquisitor. They literally called him Quicksauce the Great and Quicksauce the Bright. He was one of the greatest members of the Ordo Malleus to ever exist. Even as a young man in his 20s, he was purging demons, slew a Chaos Marine, destroyed the Witch King of Sapeth, and even rooted out a cult of Nurgle that had corrupted an entire palace on Terra. He was a living legend. However, it's clear his success had gone to his head. When he was tracking a mild Chaos cult, and by mild I mean they just didn't have demonic orgies and shit all the time, he saw them trading and using mystical artifacts in order to benefit their lives and bring wealth and fortune. Quicksauce had a realization: Chaos and the Warp were not inherently evil, they were just misused by fools and evil men. If he could use this power for good, he could achieve so much more. So he spoke with the cult, learnt from them, and eventually became their leader. Other Inquisitors attempted to track and destroy this cult, as it had become a nexus for many Chaos artifacts to end up with, only for them to be horrified to discover Quicksauce at the heart of the cult before the disgraced Inquisitor slew them. Quicksauce removed all safeguards, forging a mighty demon into a demon blade, enslaving multiple demon hosts to his will, and taking the power of Chaos into himself, which made his physical form horrifying and demonic. Yet the entire time he still believed he was working for the Emperor and the greater good. Quicksauce wanted to use his immense power, knowledge, and influence to do a devastating blow to Chaos. He believed that if he could recreate the Necron pylon around Cadia on a nearby world, then turbocharge the shit out of it using a bunch of Alpha Plus Psykers, he could overload the Eye of Terror and force it to close, dealing a massive blow to Chaos. Because this would be such an epic achievement, Quicksauce didn't give a fuck about ethics and morals. He terrorist attacked a massive military parade that included multiple imprisoned Alpha Plus Psykers, killing thousands and using the distraction to steal the Psykers away. He sent demon hosts and cultists to Cadia to study the pylons, measure them, and then recreate them using a similar but inferior material on a different world. All the while, he was eliminating anyone that he deemed a threat to his plan. When he was eventually confronted by Eisenhorn and a team of Inquisitors, he was ruthless, easily slaying two of them before then dueling Eisenhorn himself. Eisenhorn managed to pull a fast one and slew Quicksauce, with the heretic's last words literally labeling Eisenhorn as a heretic for disrupting his plan. The entire time, Quicksauce wore his inquisitorial badge of office, and when Eisenhorn's mind touched Quicksauce's, the man still saw himself as completely loyal. Now you might be like, wow, good work Eisenhorn, you stopped the closing of the Eye of Terror, hero of the month over there, buddy. However, Quicksauce's ritual was extremely experimental. Turbocharging fake Necron pylons with Alpha Plus Psykers is a bit more of an art than a science. It 100% would have blown up the planet, that was guaranteed, and likely would have expanded the Eye of Terror, not closed it. After all, Quicksauce was doing this while heavily corrupted. Chaos easily could have manipulated him into thinking this would work, when all it would have done is open the Great Rift early. So either way, play it safe, slay the dude that uses a demon sword and is literally growing horns. No list would be complete without the most giga-chad, badass, and heroic Inquisitor of them all, Inquisitor Lord Hector Rex of the Ordo Malleus. If you're wondering why most of these badasses seem to be from the Ordo Malleus, it's because demon hunting is fucking cool and really hard. Hector Rex was a day one beast. He was actually inducted into the Astra Telepathica as a youth, but his instructors were like, this dude is way too fucking cool to be a glorified Zoom call. So they handed him over to the Inquisition, but not before giving him expensive genetic modifications to greatly enhance his size, strength, durability, and speed. kinda like a proto-Astartes, similar to that of Luther or Corferon. It was during the siege of Rax that this man would shine. When he arrived on the scene, the siege had become a mess. There were traitor Astartes everywhere, there were demons, the weather was really bad, not ideal. Hector received a prophecy that unless he intervened, the world would become a demon world, which would fuck over the entire sector. Hector took control of the situation, put himself in command, and then personally led a strike team of elite Grey Knights for the final push against the traitors. Grey Knights are the best of the best, so to lead a team of them from the front is wild. They were confronted by the greater demon of Khorne, Angarath, one of Khorne's mightiest demons, and it began slaying the Grey Knights, but Rex was like, "I didn't hear no bell," and proceeded to banish the beast in personal combat. He then pushed onwards, broke the back of the enemy, and won the siege of Rax for the Imperium. It was extremely ball as shit, made more impressive by his status as a mortal man, not a space marine. As a fun fact, Hector Rex is one of the few people who have been granted an audience with the Emperor, further cementing him as a living legend. Before we choose our final Giga Chat Inquisitor, let's do some honorable mentions. First we have Inquisitor Amberly Vale, Caiaphas Cain's Bae. She is the ultimate expression of princess in the streets and monster in the sheets. She is charming and witty, but also extremely capable and deadly. For example, she took on Gene Stealers using a custom exosuit and was always there to help Cain in his times of need. Then we have Angelique de Falque, who managed to stop a Chaos Sorcerer from ascending to demonhood, despite the fact that he had mind-controlled an entire hive city and she only had a single gunship, and she also made the tough decision to bind 3 of her retinue with demons and turn them into demon hosts. They did volunteer for this. With this, she managed to kill the sorcerer and save the day in a very heretical but effective way. The final honorable mention is Kyra Draxus. She is a pretty new Inquisitor on the scene, and although she does have some cool lore regarding the recent Pariah Nexus events, it's her design, model, and synopsis that grab my attention. She's a radical Necron hunter who uses Eldar tech and weaponry, has Eldar allies, has a fucking little dragon thing, and is all around just a bad bitch. Now for our final legendary Inquisitor on this list, we have Ravenor, the disabled DEI hire. Nah, that's a joke. This guy can turn you inside out with a thought and is smart as shit. He was Eisenhorn's prized pupil and interrogator, a genius and a powerful psyker all in one. However, when Quixos terrorists attacked the parade, Ravenor was horrifically wounded, losing most of his limbs and being burnt to a crisp. He was put in a life support pod, nicknamed the Chair. However, as he lost his physical senses and body, his psychic powers exploded in proficiency. When Eisenhorn was forced into hiding, Ravenor became the new Golden Boy Inquisitor, even taking some of Eisenhorn's old retinue into his own. Some of his missions include stopping an abominable demonic super demon that would have destroyed an entire subsector, and now he works with the renegade Eisenhorn to stop, here's a spoiler in 3, 2, 1, Constantine Valdor himself, who may or may not have become a hectic demigod. One funny thing about Ravenor is that he's hyped up to be this awesome psyker, and he is, but his enemies always seem to have a more powerful psyker on hand that kicks his ass. Either way, Ravenor is a legend who gives me faith in the Inquisition. If you enjoyed the video and you want to support the channel, then pick up the limited edition, completely custom Custodian Guard LED desk pad. We are only doing a limited run of these. The artwork is hand-drawn by the legendary Alex Christie and isn't getting posted anywhere on the internet and never will be. So if you actually want to show your loyalty to the Emperor, this is how. Join the Discord for more memes and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.